I used to love to watch The Simpsons when I was younger, which is the longest running animated show on television, but I admit it's been a while since I've watched. I used to watch it all the time in high school. This show often deals directly with religions and Christianity, with the Simpson family grudgingly but regularly attending Sunday worship while also grudgingly but regularly interacting with their evangelical next door neighbor, Ned Flanders. Ned is one of the nicest characters on the show, and he is often mistreated by Homer. In the season 21 episode, The Greatest Story Ever, the most recent of Homer Simpson's infuriating and sinful transgressions leads Ned Flanders to tell his pastor that Homer is beyond redemption. And yet, inspired by his WWJD bracelet and his Time for a Good Deed Jesus clock, Flanders invites the Simpson family to join his Bible study group on a pilgrimage to the Holy Land. Despite Flanders' fervent prayers, Homer is still Homer in Jerusalem, unrepentant, motivated by food and naps. Finally, after finding Homer napping on Jesus' tomb, Flanders has had it. "Do you know why I'm a Christian?" he asks. "It is because I believe every soul has the possibility of salvation. At least I thought so till now. Homer Simpson, you are not worth saving." Have you ever thought that honestly of someone? Maybe it's someone or some group you've never even met, but they were so bad, so unrepentant, so counter to Jesus and his message that maybe you thought they weren't worth saving, or maybe weren't worth reconciling with, weren't worth the sacrifice of Jesus or any personal sacrifices on your part to help them, forgive them, teach them, or show them a different way. Do you have any of those people in your life? The Gospels are clear that we are to love our neighbors, love everyone, no exceptions. But how do we do that if one of the greatest casualties of 2020 is maybe our view of humankind? We don't trust each other. We are at odds. We don't believe the same truths or seem to have the same values. How might we live into our baptismal promises to resist evil and seek justice when the neighbors we are called to love are the ones we believe are perpetrating all these evils and injustices we're seeing? Brian Stevenson, the founder and executive director of the Equal Justice Initiative and the writer of the book and that the movie is based on, Just Mercy, that many of you have seen, suggests that we shouldn't focus on the worst thing a person has done, but on that person's humanity, even in the face of terrifying stories and actions. Not only is everyone worth saving, but such redemption is possible, Stevenson said. He says, "I do think it's important that we stay hopeful about our capacity to overcome that bigotry. And I am persuaded that hopelessness is the enemy of justice, that if we allow ourselves to become hopeless, we become part of the problem." A hope dynamic can spur you to needed action, he said. Hope is our superpower. Hope is the thing that gets you up, gets you to stand up when others say sit down. It's the thing that gets you to speak when others say be quiet. In The Simpsons, Homer has an epiphany caused by dehydration following his conflict with Flanders. In an impassioned speech to an interfaith crowd at the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem, he notes religion's teaching that humans can resemble the divine, but he says we can never attain that grace while there's hatred in our hearts for each other. Maybe even Homer Simpson sometimes has a nugget of wisdom for us. If that hatred is in my heart or your heart, are we beyond redemption? Are we worth saving? Thank God that salvation is not up to us. Thank God for the reminder that we are all in need of grace and forgiveness, and for the opportunity again and again to learn to love as God loves. That was Jesus' commandment that we remember on Maundy, Thursday. Mandatum means commandment, and that commandment is love one another as I have loved you. He commanded that on even his last evening with his disciples, even with the one who betrayed him. May we have the hope and courage and wisdom to love one another as Jesus has loved us, with truth and grace, and truly believe everyone is worth salvation. Everyone is worth reconciling with. So if that were not the case, what would that mean for us?